Maker, this is Claire from Claire Makery, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my velvet bobble pumpkins. So I have this pattern in 3 different sizes. There's a large, medium, and then a small. And you'll see with the small one you can really notice it. On some of the ridges there are bobbles as little accents. Sometimes pumpkins have those little tiny bumps on them, and so I thought I would recreate it with this super soft velvet yarn. So you can make this with either Bernat Velvet, which is what these 2 are made of, or the Lion brand Velux yarn, which is what this one is made out of. So this one is a worsted weight, these 2 are bulky weight, but you can just add a few more stitches to the pattern with this one, and it will be pretty much the exact same size that you would get, just a little bit smaller because the worsted weight velvet yarn works up pretty much like a bulky weight yarn. So in order to make this pattern, we'll set these aside over there, you are going to need some Bernat Velvet Yarn. I have the colorway Mushroom, so there's a ton of yarn on each of these skeins, so you only really need one, but if you want to make a bunch of different colors, which is what I did, you can get a bunch of different colors of velvet. You'll also need a size 7mm crochet hook, and then you'll need some scissors for at the end and a tapestry needle and stuffing to sew up your. I'm going to show you guys how to make the medium-sized pumpkin. So to start, we're going to chain 20, and this will be the base of the pumpkin pattern that we'll be doing. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Then we are going to start in the 3rd chain from the hook, which is this one right here, and we are going to do double crochets all the way down this chain stitch. So that is going to be 18 double crochets total in this first row here. So once you have all of the double crochets done in your row, it's time to move on to the next part. And all of the pumpkin patterns, no matter what size they are, start with doing chain stitches and then a row of double crochets. Once you have done the right amount of double crochets for your size of pumpkin, you're going to chain 2 and turn, do 1 double crochet stitch in the first stitch of, which would be the last stitch of the row you just finished, and then we are going to do a bobble stitch. So if you've never done a bobble stitch, I'll show you how we started again. It starts like a double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through, and so now you've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and just pull through 2 of those loops. Then you're going to do that same thing again. Yarn over, insert through the stitch, yarn over, pull through first 2, and you do this till you get 6 loops on your hook. So I've got 4 right here, so 2 more times. So you got 5. Oops, these keep slipping off on me. 5 and let's see, 5 and 6. Okay, so now that we've got all 6 of our loops, you're going to yarn over again and pull through all of the loops on your hook. So now you just have 1 stitch. So that's going to create this puff that goes out into a little tiny bobble. So it's this little tiny circle, little sphere on there. Then you're going to double crochet and then do a bobble again, and you'll keep repeating this, doing 1 double crochet and 1 bobble all the way down the row, ending on a bobble stitch. So just keep doing that till you get all of those stitches. I've got my whole row of bobbles done now, and when you turn it over you'll see it has this really fun pattern with these little bobbles popping up. They look like little blueberries on there, which is a really fun texture to add to this pattern. So once you do that, the next step is to do rows of double crochet stitches. So you're just going to double crochet across, and this is how the whole pattern pretty much goes, no matter what size you're doing. You do a row of double crochets to start, then a row of bobble stitches, then you do a certain amount of double crochet rows, and then you do a bobble stitch row again. And you just keep repeating that till you have 5 rows of bobble stitches. And that is pretty much just what most of the pattern is, while you work it up when it is flat right here. So just keep going and doing your rows of double crochets and bobble stitches till you get to the right amount of rows and stitches that you need in order to finish the crocheted part of this pattern. And once you do that, then I will show you how to cinch up your pumpkin and stuff it and put it all together. Now got my piece all finished up crocheting. So what I've done is I have ended with 4 rows of double crochets right here on the end side, and I decided to only do 4 rows of bobble stitches for the size of pumpkin. If you want to have the medium-sized pumpkin be wider, you can keep doing like another row of bobbles and some more, but I really like the pumpkin to be nice and round and pretty symmetrical, so I'm not going to do a huge width for this. It's gonna just have a really nice balance to it. Finished, what we're gonna do is we are going to end this crochet piece by seaming the ends together, and we're gonna do that by slip stitching through both rows. So we're gonna start by inserting our hook in the corner closest to us, going through the other corner, and then just slip stitching like that. And then you slip stitch through each one of the stitches that is on each of these rows. So you're just going through both rows in order to get it. And now if you don't want the seam to be out and you want it to be more hidden, you can do it where you flip it. So like if you don't want the seam to be on the outside, I'll just take it out to show you. You can have your stitch go through, like do the wrong sides together. So you can really do either way, and then you just start by crocheting through, do the same way, but we're going to start over in this side right here and then slip stitch through. So you can do either way, it's up to you how you want your seams to look. I'm going to go ahead and just do this wrong side together so that the seams more blend in, and the bobbles are the thing that the tension's drawn to. So do this all the way to the very end of this row. Okay, so the piece is all seamed together now, so now we've got this nice tube here, and then we are going to fasten this off by weaving a pretty long tail for sewing here. So I'm going to do it about this length, because I'll just use this strand of yarn for the top of the pumpkin. So then I'm going to put the yarn through the loop right here and tighten it to fasten this off. And then we're going to turn this right side out so that the bobbles show up. And then we are going to go ahead and we are going to do a basting stitch along the outside of this hat. So how you do a basting stitch is you insert your needle through your yarn, through your piece, and then you're going to come out through another stitch, go down, skip about 2 stitches, come up 2 stitches away, and then this is just a basting stitch. You just keep doing this, pulling your yarn through, and as you go and you pull your yarn, it will start to tighten up the rows here. So then it's going to close and become more round. So you're going to do this all the way around, and I like to pull my yarn as I go. I use this technique on beanies and other things. Like if you don't want to crochet in the round, this is a great way to do it. I found that I really enjoy making the pumpkins when I can just work flat, because they just go a lot faster for me. So then we'll close that up by pulling it all the way shut, and then you are going to want to secure this so it doesn't move. So we're going to fasten the yarn off by tying a knot here. So go like this and then fasten off, and then you will weave this end in, and then we are not going to actually use this strand of yarn, because what we're going to do is we are going to start working on doing the top part. So we are going to cut a really long strand of yarn. Like you might want to do about a third of a yard, or a yard length of yarn. So we're going to just snip this, and then we will get our needle ready like this. And this is actually the most, it feels like the most labor intensive part of this pattern, because this pattern is super easy to make, but then with assembling it, you just have a couple different little steps that you have to do in order to do it all. So we're gonna just do this. Get that knot in there so we'll have a nice little knot so it doesn't come through. And then we're going to do that same exact thing that we just did, but we are not going to cinch it all the way closed. And why we're going to not do it all the way closed quite yet is because we are going to be stuffing this as we are closing this up. So go ahead and just do this all the way around, but don't pull it completely closed all the way. So keep it pretty loose. So now I have this all sewn along the edges so that now I can cinch it up if I want. But before I do that, I am going to take my stuffing here. I'm just using some regular polyester fiberfill that you can get at Walmart or any other craft store, and then you're just going to stuff it. You can stuff it like super full so that it's like a really poofy pumpkin, or you can have it a little bit looser, but you want to stuff it like so that the shape pretty much takes place, but it isn't too stuffed so that it stretches out the fabric on here. So then once I have this stuffed to how I like it, I stuffed it all the way to the top and a little bit on the edges. Then I'm going to pull this closed all the way, and then this is going to be the this is the bottom of the pumpkin. And in order to finish this off, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this long strand of yarn and we are going to start creating ridges on the pumpkin. So we'll start by going all the way around like this, and then this creates this cinched up part in the middle. Then we're going to go over here and get that. We'll do another one on this side, and you just do it as many times as you want till you get kind of the look of the pumpkin that you want to have. I'm only going to do it a few times because I didn't have a ton of yarn here to finish this off with, but you can really do it however you like. And if you don't like how it comes out when you first do it, then you can just adjust your like you can move the pieces that are cinched a little bit off to the sides and stuff. So then I am going to finish this off here by tying a knot and just doing like how we fasten off the top. I'm going to fasten off the bottom here, and then we'll pull this closed just like this, and then the pumpkin is pretty much done. This part right here, so you'll see it has some nice ridges, and you can always create more by having a longer piece of yarn, but we are going to go ahead and set this aside so that we can start making the stem of the pumpkin. So I have grabbed my yarn that I'm using for the stem. This is Wool Ease Thick and Quick in Sequoia, and I'm going to show you guys how to crochet the stem. So the stem is like, you thought the pumpkin was easy. The stem is even easier. So all you do is you are going to make a magic circle. So you do that by winding the yarn around like that. It creates this X in the back, and then you go up and under and then around and through. And this yarn, this technique, you could also try doing the chain 2 and then crochet in the second chain, but I really like the magic circle. We're just going to do 3 single crochets in here, 2, 3, and I like the magic circle because it gets a little bit tighter than the other ones. So then you're just going to pull it tight like that, and then we are going to start just doing 4 rows of single crocheting 3. So we're just creating, it's just super easy to do. You just keep pretty much just crocheting around this until you get the size of stem that you would like. So I did mine about 4 rows for this size. You can always do it shorter or longer, or you don't even have to have the stem. I think the stem helps show really that it's a pumpkin, so I recommend making one. But you can do whatever you like. That's what's fun about crocheting, is you get to totally customize things to what you want to do. And that's why I like making my own home decor instead of buying it, because I get to make it in the exact colors and everything that I want. So I think that's good for the stem. This is about 4 rounds of single crocheting 3. So then I am going to snip off my yarn, and I don't need a super long tail for sewing this because it's super, it's only 3 stitches to sew on, and you don't even need to stuff this because since it's so thin, it will pretty much just stand on its own. So then we'll take our pumpkin, and I'm gonna just go ahead and weave this end into the stem and kind of use it as stuffing while it's off of the pumpkin, because I've done it a couple times now where it is on the pumpkin when I do it and it's too hard. So we're gonna just do it this way. Okay, so then you are going to just sew this guy on here, and sometimes you might run into a little trouble with this super thick yarn going in your needle, but just pull and it'll work. Okay, so then we're gonna position the stem right in the center of the pumpkin, which is about right here, and then you just start sewing it on. So it's just 3 stitches of sewing, not that much, and it looks really cute on top of the pumpkin. Love it. And really any color. And the sequoia yarn goes really well if you're doing like a lot of deep tone fall colors, which is what I've done with all these pumpkins that I've been making. It's just so pretty. Love it with this taupe too. Okay, so then once your stem is secure on there, then you are going to fasten it off, and try and fasten it off as close as you can to where the stem is at. And just go ahead and pull that. Then, as always, weave in your ends. So we're going to go ahead and just pull this down into here. And just do that. Get this weird little fluff. When I wove in the end before, it made it really weird. Okay. Now it's just a really long hair. Okay. So there you go, guys. You've officially now made your own little bobble pumpkin. And you can make this in any color, any amount of edges, any size that you want. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to check out the free pattern for the small pumpkin on my blog, and grab $2 PDF in my Ravelry and Etsy shops, which has this size and the really large one too. And as always, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button so I can keep making all these tutorials. And I will see you next time for more crochet fun. Bye! Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it below if you enjoyed watching it, and hit the subscribe button if you never want to miss out a video from me. And also check out my other videos and tutorials on my channel. See you next time!